Hello, my name is Francis Fox, and I am a trained government remote viewer. I have a mission in this incarnation, which is to deliver extra information so that we can make better decisions. And one of the things I've been caught up in doing is mapping the energies of the United States. It's been really interesting. Now, tonight, later on, I am going to map Latin America and Central America for my followers so that they can know what's going on. The map is very interesting, alarming. I'm going to say the future's elastic and plastic. I'm going to say should not be news because basically every indigenous group, the Bible, the dolphins, all predicted earth changes at the end. Um, so this is the map. Let me see if I can get a clipboard. I'm a little out of it today. I have lots of police cars parked around me facing in a direction for a quick getaway. My handler was in when I went to walk my dog at 7 in the morning. He was right there. I was walking one direction. He was walking as they usually do towards me. Did not say a word. And this morning, one of the group that watched me having to do with sex trafficking, the people that did sex traffic me, were waiting in a corner as usual, with a large dog. That's part of the mind control programming to frighten me, to see if they can trigger some subconscious memory to get me to under control and to obey. And he was wearing, my handler was wearing striped shirt. I've seen him 3 times or 3 times in the last several days. In other words, he's just walking around my neighborhood, or he does not live here. Actually, I think he lives in his car at this point. But the man that was with the dog had on the stripe, black and white stripes shirt. And I hesitated before moving forward, and he waited and waited and waited in the corner here in Coconut Grove. No reason to wait. There were no cars. He could have crossed, no issue. He was waiting to make sure that I saw him to see if his shirt would trigger me. What is that all about? I have told everybody for decades that one of the symbols that is used by the group that trafficked me was blue and white stripes. And you could have a little bit, you could also have a red stripe. It was blue and white stripes. It turns out that that's from Freemasons. So you should look it up, blue and white stripes. And that's what we use for pajamas. Oh, okay. Yeah. They want to put a part of you to sleep. And they've been doing this for decades. And the Freemasons, maybe somebody did it before then. It must work. So they stopped using the blue and white stripes when I started to yell and scream about it. But there was my handler that is circling me now, today, yesterday, and the guy that was there this morning is back to the stripes, which to me would indicate that they're pretty desperate. Oh, that's great news for me. You can imagine how I feel. Anyway, so here we are, waiting for, what are we waiting for? When they say, when do people get arrested? I suspect they're going to get arrested very soon. Or I wouldn't have all these police cars, and I wouldn't have these guys wearing the stripes, because everybody at this point who knows anything about me already knows about the stripes. So look up Freemasons and blue and white stripes, and then you'll go, so that's why pajamas for decades were all blue and white stripes. It puts a part of you to sleep. Here's the map. This is good news and bad news. What do you want first? The bad news? The bad news is Earth is breaking open. But I sketched this last week a couple of times. They're going to be catastrophes. All of these are the breaks in the earth and catastrophes. There's going to be catastrophes. We already see the one that's in Thailand, and they keep having huge earthquakes. And that one was several days ago. And it says Earth's fissures opening up. I think that we are definitely at the end of end times, and I think that the catastrophes that we were told about are happening. That's it, and it's not going to stop. Now, if you go to my book on Amazon, which I used to have for free in Spanish, but now somehow it got lost from my website, so you have to get it from Amazon in English, and it's called "The Gods Speak: Dolphin Wisdom Revealed." Remember, the Greeks who gave us Plato and Aristotle considered dolphins to be gods. And the first chapter is about what's happening now. And the information was given to me like in 1996. And the dolphins made me promise that I would get the information out. And I didn't for decades. Why? Because every time I talked about the dolphins, people would say, "Oh, what did they say?" And I would say, "Well, they say there's going to be catastrophes in the world as we know it's going to end." And people would be like, "What's the matter with you, Francis, that you're so negative? The dolphins are so cute." They're gods. They know. So I stopped talking about the dolphins, and I didn't do what I promised the dolphins. I didn't put the book out. People wouldn't have read it anyway. They're still not reading it. So if you want to see, it's the first chapter is exactly about what's happening today. And basically what it says, the earth is going through a transition that is going to include massive catastrophes, and some people will be lifted up from that. That's in the Bible. And some people will be left behind with everything wiped away. At which time, according to the dolphins, they won't have any option. They won't have things to entertain themselves with. They will deal with plants and animals and the stars, and they'll find themselves. And then they too will ascend. Anyway, so this is happening. And this is not something I want to sketch. When I do these things, it's not what I want. I never know what I'm going to get. The good news is the United States has sacred energy. Oh, yeah, Francis is in love with Trump and Elon. No, Francis is in love with information. And I myself didn't pay enough attention to the information I had decades ago, but honestly, there wasn't really anything I could have done with it. I was already persona non grata with people because of all my reality checks. So I'm going to not blame myself because I'm not responsible for what's going on. Maybe I could have done things differently and gotten it. I have no idea. I'm getting it out there now. So, United States in a great place. In an hour, I'm going to sketch Latin America and Central America. We'll find out what's going on with them in terms of what am I sketching here? I'm sketching in other dimensions, and I'm sketching like structure and things that are happening that we can't maybe see yet in the physical dimension. We're already seeing the natural catastrophes. So here, there's only one area, which I suspect is the Washington, D.C., New York area, that's hot. We have double, triple Merkaba, which is considered your vehicle for galactic travel. So if the dolphin said that the people that are kind of ready will be lifted up, then the United States has a vehicle to be lifted up from whatever's happening to planet Earth. Is that? I'm just, I'm not making a declarative statement. Okay? So this is sacred energy. Repeat, earth fissures opening up, the earth is breaking open, earth breaking open, catastrophes. I have to give you what I get. And the good news is, if you're from the United States or you're in the United States, it would appear that we're going to be fine. What does that mean? I have no idea. So I just put out my book, Sex, We Have to Figure This Out. So I'll just, the book is going to be very confusing, but isn't the subject of sex confusing? This has nothing to do with positions. Like I say, just jump into bed with the person that you're compatible with and both of you agree and just whatever, figure it out. This doesn't have to do with positions of the physical body. This has to do with all the other aspects, spiritual, emotional, consequences, the definition of sex, and how exactly the definition of a sex, which is in the dictionary, like my master taught me, look it up in the dictionary, to cut and to divide. That is the definition of the word sex. Did you know that? No, you didn't know that unless you heard it from me before. Nobody knows that. Why? Because it doesn't make any sense. But what happened in the Bible? What does it say in the Bible? And you know I'm not Christian, I'm not biblical, but I get solid information wherever it is that it's at. In the Bible, it said that God made man, a being, and then he cut him and made woman. And so, what is the definition of the word sex? To cut and to divide. Okay, something else the book says. There's several chapters. Some are from the dolphins, some are from me. I don't remember who else contributed. Another one is a little game at the end, the last chapter you are going to enjoy. The relationship between your sexual energies and your car. That you'll like. It's something that I discovered 13 years ago. I put it up as a video on YouTube. So this is not new. And I know there's going to be a lot of screaming with that chapter. But if you pay attention to the chapter and you apply the information there to your friends and to yourself in terms of your car, you're going to go, there's something here. Maybe there's something more in the book that's good. And then the art, the Buddhist tantric art, Tantrism is not just about sex. Tantric Buddhism is about magic. And a core part of it is sex. Oh, sex and magic. And they say sexual magic, and you're thinking, who knows what? You need to read the book. It's on Amazon. And one piece of information. When you have sex with somebody, you connect with them for up to 12 years. I'll show you what connects. Nothing pornographic here. Some of these. You see the gold body with the extended arms? You see the green threads? Those are mind strings from string theory. And when you have sex with somebody, yours inserts into the other person and theirs insert into you. But they're channels that channel energy back and forth between you and that person and you. And like the story that I have told several times, the woman who called during a TV show when I was diagnosing people with their second chakra, their sexual issues, she was a mess. I said to her, why are you so connected to people in jail? Why are you so connected to such bad guys? I think she was a prostitute. She didn't say it. But she said, well, that's true. I have had sex with iffy people. She didn't say it like that, but basically that's what she said. I think you should get the book, and I think you should scream your way through it or say, this woman is crazy. This is not right. How does this help? You know how it's going to help? You have to start asking questions. And then if you start to connect the dots, which is what I actually was doing as I was writing the book, when I realized, which was several years ago. So the definition of sex is to cut and divide. And in the Bible, it says that God created human and then he cut him and created the female. And you had male and female. That's cut and divide. So wait a second. There's an expression that I have used about myself, la loca no está tan loca, the crazy lady's not so crazy. A lot of people say that after they know me for a while when they're thinking, And there, thanks to the mind control program I was in, that I'm grateful for the gifts it gave me. I'm not grateful for the process they put me through, and I'm not grateful for what I'm going through right now. Okay. I'm looking at my notes. So guess what? We all have to deal with, but right now I'm going to talk about this country and Trump. Trump has to deal with the collective shadow of everybody in this country. Collective shadow, what are you talking about? The Mayans said that at this time, sub-personalities would rise up, and that is what would create the chaos in end times. So, what are we dealing with here? Yes, we are dealing with illegal immigrants that are killing people, the Tren de Yegua, whatever that their name is. But the biggest thing we're dealing with here has to do with the sex trafficking and the stealing that is still being conducted by people that are nice, but that now their dark side is being uncovered. And now what are they going to do? Scramble, kill. Today it was in the news that that poor woman that was sex trafficked with supposedly Prince Andrew, she has like 3 or 4 days left to live. Somebody arranged to have her put down, and a truck ran into her car, and she's not going to make it, according to the news. Now, is that news put out there today so coincidentally so that people like me go, I better sit up straight and not talk? It's not going to happen. Or is it true? I have no idea. Was it done to shut everybody up? Possibly. But it's the nice people that are the big problem. The people that looked like they were nice. Let's bring in all the immigrants. Let's take care of them. We're a country of immigrants. That's how we were built. Meanwhile, it took you guys too long to figure out that there must have been a plan for all those kids that were separated from their parents. Why on earth would, if I have company and there's a lot of people and they bring their kids, I don't want the adults to leave. You can stay here and hang around the edges of the room and have a drink and have a good time, but I don't want to be left responsible for all those kids. It's a lot of work. For them to sleep over a whole batch of kids, it's a lot of work. One night it's like the next day you're like, when are they leaving? You invite in and you have a couple 100,000 children, and in the beginning you separate them from their parents. What is the matter with you? What is the matter with you? Why would anybody separate a kid from their parents if their parents can take care of them better than a system can take care of them? The whole mind control thing, I ain't the only mind control victim out there. It's the whole country. It's the only way this was able to happen. There's no way. Americans are intelligent. They've been put to sleep. Not just Americans. I'm talking right now about the United States. Asleep. The things are happening right there. And then it's so funny, and I've said this for years, I don't really care who gets offended. This whole thing of smart appliances, smart meters, and then the CIA, the head of the CIA, I don't remember which one it was, he said, they're not smart. They're documenting the smart meters when you come home because you turn on your electricity, you start to turn on lights, you start to use things, and then they know you're home. That's it. And I'm sure they know a lot more than that. The smart appliances are all microwave. Why do American people need to have something that has the word smart? So that you can, well, we're smart. You know what? We ain't been so smart. I don't care who I offend. Not so smart. Gossip? Not sure. On X today, they had a graphic of a Simpson episode in which it shows Trump dead April 12th, 2025. And then it said, the Simpson episodes were never wrong. Okay, well, I'm here to remind you that the future is elastic and plastic. Prophecy is to tell you where you're going to end up if you don't get off the road you're on. I was considered prophetic. And when I say things about the future, I tell my followers, this is what I see now. This is where we can end up if we don't get off the road. If we don't like this, then we need to get off this path, off this road, make a change. So, in terms of that supposed prophecy, certainly, if I were Trump, I would pay attention and I would end up making sure that I would be 1000% not in places that would be iffy. I would also do a mantra. Please, God, help me with my intention. Uh, you know what? Please God help me with my intention to be protected. But I would also do a visualization. And Trump's a Gemini, so his birthday is in May. So, in terms of creating reality, and I have a book written on that, it's on Amazon, it's called Creation, World Peace. All Trump has to do, well, we can all do it with him, for him, is to visualize him at his birthday party in, it would be either May or June, depending upon what the date of his birthday is. So, Estela, do me a favor. You're good at finding stuff quick. Would you look up Trump's exact birth date? And right now, we are going to set up a group uh, creative healing, and we're simply going to all visualize Trump having a good time at his birthday party. And we're going to get the date in a couple of minutes. Hopefully, Estela will be able to do that, or somebody else can give it to me. And you just visualize Trump celebrating, and you visualize a calendar with the date in May. Okay, that's how reality is created. So we create the reality. He's going to have a great birthday party, at which time the Simpsons prediction won't play out. You're not supposed to have somebody tell you what's going to happen and simply accept it, because that's not how reality is created. Reality is created every second. You create your reality every second. And we get caught in these little trenches that we just stay in, and we move in the same direction, and there's a path, and you're going that way and they're going this way. Who said you have to stay on that path? Get off the side of the road. Backtrack. Get onto another road. You don't have to stay there. You don't have to stay there. It's the 14th of June. So you visualize on the 14th of June, you're seeing news on X, wherever you want to see it. He's celebrating his birthday, June 14th. And you just X'd out whatever that symptoms episode said. You just finished with it. But you need to do that with everything. I'm going to give you a simple, silly, stupid example, but you guys know that I'm right. Let's say you're looking for a boyfriend, or you got a boyfriend. You're not sure he's interested. Yeah, he's interested. He can't quite make up his mind. Da, 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 da. So you go to a card reader. You don't really go to an astrologer, because after 2 or 3 times, she's going to say, we already read that. You go to a card reader. A card, da, 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 da. What's he thinking? What's going on? Da, 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 da. And she tells you. Okay, and then you leave. Meanwhile, she's a good card reader, but the guy's not performing according to what she said. You go back 3 weeks later. Well, something changed. Da, da, da. When you have that, and this is what I said, people are not that interested in that kind of a reading. And I don't do them anyway. I don't do cards. I don't do those readings. I never did, because I noticed that there was something really weird going on with all of that male-female thing, that people would not necessarily, when you would ask a card reader, people would ask me, is the guy in love with him? And I'd look and I go, yeah, he actually is. Oh, okay, so then it's a done deal. No, it's not a done deal, because there's emotions and there's traumas, and people change their mind. I stopped. First place, I never did cards ever. I don't know how to do them. And I stopped. People ask me about boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, and I don't do that. I'm limping in that department. Okay? Because of all the sexual abuse, I'm limping in that department. But that is and that's been for centuries. You can't just go to a card reader and have the card reader tell you what's going to happen, and then you go home and you sit there and wait for it to happen. You don't, because you know that that's going to change. The same thing with the prediction about Trump. Same thing. You need to get more expert in terms of creating reality. And part of that has to do with making sure that you have the ability to make choices, and you're not just simply on a path that's robotic. Let's go back to Trump. He cannot get too tired. The one I'm more concerned about is Elon Musk, even though he's looking a lot happier. I don't know what's going on there, but he's looking happier. He looks less tired, maybe because a lot of us in this country have stood up and said, you know what? We stand with him. To hell with all these people, whether they're funded or not. They're really angry, and it's directed at him. Okay, So he's looking better. We need to make sure, and Trump needs to make sure he doesn't get too tired. So when he gets too tired, he needs to understand that that's when your creation of reality starts to waver. You could just fall into whatever because you're just too tired. There's a part of you that's not sure it really wants to continue forward because you're too tired. I mean, he's obviously on a winning streak, but exhaustion is very real. You need energy to make decisions to keep forward. So I would say that that would be the biggest thing that the biggest enemy to his well-being, his health, and his much longer life is exhaustion. It's not the enemy anymore. He has no intention of dying. But a lot of times, if we get tired enough and then there's things pile up, like in the United States, maybe there'll be things that will happen. They'll be like, oh my God, this is a lot to deal with. And I'm physically tired and whatever. So that applies to everybody. I'm using him as an example, but that applies to everybody. You create reality every step of the way. Now, you have influences. Let's go back to the sex. This woman that called into my show to see about her sexual chakra, she was sick. But she wasn't just sick physically. She emotionally she was not well. But she had all these people, these men, at least a couple of which were in jail. They can't be happy. So that mind stream would be feeding her the level of their misery. And it was more than one, it was more than two, and then all the other ones. Because of I'm sure she must have been a prostitute. So you have to monitor your life, and you can't be having these influences. You can't think that you can run out there and play with people that are living on the edge of darkness or the edge of the law, and it's not going to affect you. It's going to affect you. Transference of energy is very real. So if you want to protect your ability to create the reality you want, you thank you, Estela. If I didn't say thank you a minute ago, you have to monitor everything that's around you, what you touch, what you read, which brings us to the really huge issue of images. That image on X with Trump and the Simpson thing can be distressing. We shouldn't see that image. And yet, I think that it's only fair to show it. And there goes the whole thing with balance and knowing what to do with all this information. It was upsetting to me. And then I realized, okay, this is an opportunity to go back and remind people how we create reality. The whole thing with images is used in black magic. Of course, because the way you create, you start with an image and a thought, and then you start to energize it with your attention and your breath. It moves from one dimension to the other, to the other, to the other. So, what was it? June the 14th. You just several times a day for 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. You just see the image of him. And if you want to see him with his fist in the air, like the day he was shot, go ahead and do that. You figure out the image that feels right and feels good and just breathe. And if on that image you have a calendar someplace, that's good. It sets it more deeply in your mind in terms of creating that reality. Okay. So Trump has to confront a collective shadow of dozens of years of nice people doing incredibly god awful things. And I'm not even talking about the sex trafficking, but all those kids. Biden had to have known what was going on with those kids. Kamala had to have known what was going on with those kids. Anybody who's a responsible adult should have said, why are they separating the kids from the parents? That doesn't make any sense. No, it's much easier. No, 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 no. You and I both know that's not much easier. You need that kid, the person who's going to be able to take the best care of him so he's less problem is the mother. And then if the father's there, perfect, even better. So this collective shadow that was underneath the radar, underground, subconscious, in the 7 energy centers we have below the root chakra, which the Catholic Church says that that area is hell. And in metaphysics, it's called the underworld. Anubis, that Greek Egyptian god, is the one that's powerful down there. That is all released. And it finished releasing approximately 2 weeks ago. And the 2 eclipses and what's going on astrologically from here forward, there's no going back. This is only going to get worse. And you're going to have that deeper division between the people that will be lifted up, whatever form that takes, and the people that will fall into the underworld, or their world will be the underworld, because the underworld is no longer down there. It's all mixed. This is very shocking. I mean, I did not understand that part of Revelations would be the moving of a dimensional wall in between our conscious world and our subconscious world, underworld, the hell, whatever word you want to put. I did not get that. I should have, but I didn't. So we're all, whoever is running organizations nationally, whatever, right now I'm talking about Trump, he has to deal with a collective shadow. That's why it would be very important to get spiritual help, having to do with what do you do with the shadow side of people. I am not sure. I'm let me say this. I'm very concerned about what's going on with taking the prisoners to El Salvador. I'm not concerned about the fact that they're getting transported out. I'm not, it doesn't concern me that they're going to jail. It doesn't concern me that they're not getting the normal American due process in courts, which has already been very controlled anyway. I'm not concerned about that. Let's say he puts 1,000 people there and it turns out that 5 were innocent. Well, you know what? That's the reason you're supposed to not have this artificial belief system we have. That's the reason why you need to understand karma. If 5 people ended up in the wrong place, you cannot make Trump or society responsible. Something was going on with their personal history that it was necessary for them to end up in the wrong, what you would say is the wrong place. It's when we try to make, you cannot make a level playing field for everybody. That's just not the way life is. You can't. You apply the laws we have today to the Roman times or the Greek times. Oh, everybody was animals. No, they were playing out whatever they were playing out then. Whatever it is that their karma was. What is karma? Karma means you bring to you what you need. If there's 5 people in those prisons that did not do enough bad things to deserve, according to the system here, to be in the prison, something's going on. Maybe they're supernatural and they'll end up being a type of Jesus Christ to the rest of the people there. And they'll be teaching them about spirituality. Or maybe one of them had a kid that would have ended up there, but once his father ended up there, the kid was like, wait a minute, I need to self-correct. And the father was willing, without knowing it consciously, to be there in order to self-correct, for his kids to self-correct. We don't know, but we don't need to know, because when it comes to karma, everybody's responsible for themselves. This whole court system, these cases do not make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense. But the alternative, which is what everybody's believed in until recent history, when the Catholic Church exited out, what we're living today. Anyway, let's go ahead and do a mantra. And let's hope that when I do Latin America and Central America, within about an hour, when I do the mapping, that it be as good as the United States. I think that Mexico is safe. Again, Canada did not look safe. I think Trump has incredible instincts. And I'm going to say it. I think there's something weird going on with Canada. And my sketch said that Canada was spiritually very weak. And this, whatever's going on today, is very much based on spiritual movements in the other dimension, including the revelations having to do with all the sex trafficking, the money. So USAID was money laundering. Okay. I lost my, I ran out of gas. So can we get this? Okay. So let's go ahead and do, let's do Even Though I'm Afraid, which is basically what I need. Oh, I got something cute. Mango therapy. So, Lord Vishnu from Hinduism supposedly brought the coconut to planet Earth to protect against the spirits of people that at one point had a physical body. They died and their spirit didn't go to the light. You know, they say in the Bible, then the devil has these spirits and he uses them as soldiers in the war against the light. Okay. But there's the spirits that are coming in now, the ones that are really bad, they never had physical bodies. They didn't have a presence in the physical dimension. And that's where the mango comes in. Mango has, the spirits don't, they can't tolerate fun and joy. And coconut has a particular type of fun, joy. Hey, hey. So mango has a type of joy that's very profound. And the off planet, really bad spirits, the devil, and I don't know if there's other groups or other names. There are a ton of names. I don't want to even learn them. They never had a physical body. They can't take the mango. So several years ago, I came up with mango therapy. And I actually had somebody who had a very bad liver with several tumors, and she had surgery at the major research hospital in the United States. The surgery was 7 hours long. They weren't able to get any place. She did a mantra, and the tumors went away. And she sent me the x-rays and everything. So it was not a game, besides what she doesn't. She's not the type of person that was looking to impress me at all. I actually think she was a little bit cranky, that with the whole modern medicine thing, they hadn't been able to do anything for her. And the tumors were enough to where it was affecting her circulation. I wasn't aware that that could happen, whatever. But when I did the mango therapy, when I invented mango therapy, she would sleep with 3 mangoes tied to her liver. And she sent me photographs of them. Oh my God, they look like they went through wars. One night's sleep. The mangoes would be like, great. And then the next morning they would like, what the heck happened to this mango? Obviously, you don't eat it. So all you have to do is find 3. 3 is a number of joy. All you have to do is get 3 mangoes and wrap them around a part of your body that's not doing wonderfully or that's really sick. Do not eat it. When you take it out, you throw it out. Don't use it the second day. It absorbs the bad energy, which means it absorbs the energy of the really bad spirits. So we were playing with it on the top part of our body. I was able to unearth and release a memory that I have here in a tooth from when my first child was born. And unbelievable with mango therapy. Now, I didn't have 3. This is what I found. I picked up off the ground. Remember, I can't leave my apartment. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. So try it. Mangoes against evil spirits, which medical doctors can't even discuss the thought that that might exist, and they're not going to take care of them because they're not supposed to believe that they exist. They probably don't believe they exist. They wouldn't know what to do with them. Meanwhile, Jesus Christ, if you were sick, the first thing he did was take out spirits. Oh, shamanism, the oldest medicine on the planet, they take out the spirits first. Chinese medicine, they have 33 ghost points in acupuncture that most acupuncturists in this country don't even know about. They take out the spirits. Ayurveda also. I actually don't know what Ayurveda uses. So, mango therapy, and you will have fun. It's still a little bit shiny. I put it here, and that's still a little bit shiny. Anyway, let's do, even though I'm afraid I love and accept myself, and let's do 5 minutes. And we're going to do the fun music. Okay, I feel better. See how my voice changed? Mantras really work. They really work. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Okay? And we should be back tomorrow.